Nuclear Architected, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to another Hearthstone video. And since we're merely days away from exploring the reaches of Icecrown Citadel in the new Hearthstone expansion, Knights of the Frozen Throne, I've decided to do yet another top 10 most powerful cards in this expansion. And since the last time I was about 80% right on my picks, I'm feeling pretty confident about this one. Just as a side note, we're not going to be taking into consideration the Death Knight hero cards, since most of them are pretty powerful and most likely will be seeing some sort of play. And the first card on our list is the Hunter's Corpse Widow, which is a 5-mana 4/6 beast that reads your Death Rattle cards cost 2 less. And I gotta say, this is an extremely powerful premium statted minion for the mana cost. It's just ridiculous. Pretty strong effect, of course. Perfect for the slower mid-range Hunter deck. Can be paired with 1 or 2 2-drop Death Rattle minions on turn 5 for insane value. And if it sticks around, you can play a high main for only 4 mana, which can pretty easily swing the game in your favor, let's be real. So yeah, this card definitely gonna be seeing some sort of play. Next on our list is yet another Hunter card. This one is called the Stitched Tracker, which is a 3-mana 2/2. With the battle cry, discover a copy of a minion in your deck. Of course, the first comparison that comes to mind is the Cabal Courier, but whereas that card has a pretty insane variance in its discovers, the Tracker has a more straight line and valuable discover effect, plus the fact that it copies the minion, so you can essentially have 3 copies of all your minions, which is really strong. And come on, who doesn't want 3 high mains, right? Pretty mediocre stats, of course, to balance the strong effect, but it's probably gonna still see some play in the slower mid-range Death Knight Hunter decks. Next up is the Paladin Minion Righteous Protector, a 1-mana 1/1 with Taunt and Divine Shield. This card may be really similar to the Argent Squire, but we're gonna have to take into consideration that Argent Squire is, and it still is, one of the most popular 1-drops in the game. This one is definitely gonna be an auto-include in all Paladin decks, just like its bigger brother, the Shielded Mini-Bot. And it also has Taunt, which can protect you even in late game. And it also synergizes very well with hand buffing effects. So we're definitely gonna be seeing 2 offs of this in almost pretty much any build of Paladin that's gonna follow. Because why run only 2 Argent Squires when you can run 4? Am I right? Next up is the Warrior Weapon Blood Razor, that is a 2/2 with a battle cry and a death rattle. Deal 1 damage to all minions. And as we know, warriors love their whirlwind effects and always find ways of using them to an advantage. So this card is a no-brainer in most warrior decks, probably aside from pirates, of course. Even though it lacks the raw stats of its bigger brother, the Deathbite, which, mind you, is probably the best weapon ever added to the game. It makes up with 2 whirlwind effects, and since warriors love their Acolytes of Pain and Floating Berserkers, this weapon is probably gonna make it to most tempo and control lists. Next up is the mighty Lich King himself, who is a 8-mana 8/8 with Taunt, and at the end of your turn add a random Death Knight card to your hand. Note here, Death Knight cards are not the Death Knight hero cards, but a separate set of 8 insanely powerful cards. Think of him sort of like a buffed Sarah, even though her stat distribution is a little bit better and the variation of Death Knight cards is a bit higher, but their power level is way bigger than on Ysera's Dream cards. Plus, the Taunt might help you survive, but also makes him a bit more vulnerable. But if you can get the right Death Knight card for the situation, he can be extremely powerful. And if you get him to stick around for an extra turn, he can really snowball a game. And I have no doubt we'll be seeing a lot of the Lich King in pretty much all control decks, and if not because of the insane effect, but I'm pretty sure it's gonna be because of the cool factor. This card is super cool, and the entrance animation is one of the best. Plus, you can get him from a Stonehill Defender, which means you don't even have to have him in your deck, which is even more insane! After that, we've got the Kulking Guy, a 6-mana 4/6 minion with Battlecry. Destroy all 1-cost spells in both hands and decks. Rest in peace, Jade Idol. You will not be missed. But of course we cannot exactly judge how good this card is as a tech option without seeing the meta, but on paper it is really powerful and definitely reduces design space on fun and powerful 1-mana spells. Not much to be said, we're gonna have to just wait and see if this card actually really breaks the game or not, but I'm gonna take a good gander and say it will be seeing some play. Alright, next up is the Corpse Taker, a 4-mana 3/3 with a battle cry. Gain Taunt if your deck has a Taunt minion, repeat for Divine Shield, Lifesteal and Wind Fury. Another staple in Paladin for sure, just because you can get on average all of the stats except Wind Fury by just putting Wicker Flame Burn Bristle in your deck. And of course it synergizes very well with hand buffs, and you gotta think that Silver Moon Guardian is somewhere crying in a corner, because he just got power creeped to death. But the good thing about this card is it is a neutral card, so some other decks can use it. In particularly Shaman, they can get off most of the effects of this card by just having Alakir in the deck, and that's quite strong. So this card is definitely gonna be seeing quite a lot of play. Next card is the 4-mana priest spell called Eternal Servitude that reads: discover a friendly minion that died this game, summon it. And holy shit, is this not potentially incredibly powerful? And for a very good price indeed. They can easily swing early mid-game matchups thanks to cards like Injured Blademaster and like Barnes. Imagine you Barnes the new 9-mana Obsidian Statue card, use up the Death Rattle 1/1 copy, and then next turn just resurrect him as the full 4/8 with Taunt on turn 5 with this card. It is absolutely insane. That's some game-ending shit right there if you ask me. A lot of potential game-swinging results with this card in all stages of the game, to be honest, that might make up a Temple Priest deck. I don't know, we're gonna have to wait and see. And unlike the Onyx Bishop, this card lets you control what comes up and not let RNG bring up some small worthless piece of crap. Next on the list is my pick for a wild card this time. It's the Happy Ghoul, a 3-mana neutral 3/3 that costs 0 if your hero was healed this turn, and I'm not really sure about this card, but who knows, it might surprise a lot of people, especially in classes like Priest and Paladin, for sure. People think this could be the Lost Priest 2-drop, but you have to take into consideration the effect only works when health is restored, so you cannot just hero power pass and play this for 0, unless you have taken damage from something small, maybe a 1-drop or something, in which case 1 or 2 0-mana 3/3s can swing the game quite a lot in the early game, right? Seems also particularly good in buff Paladin with True Silver Champion, which heals you, but definitely has potential, man. I'm quite intrigued to see what this card can do, especially in Arena. And last but certainly least, we have the epic Druid spell Ultimate Infestation, and for 10 mana it deals 5 damage, summons a 5/5 Ghoul, gives you 5 armor and draws you 5 cards. Just ridiculous. One of the most powerful swingy cards in the game for sure. Easily worth at least 1 deck slots in most heavy lists. This card allows you to not rely on Nourish as a card job, but use it more aggressively and ramp up, since Druids have no problem reaching 10 mana before anyone else, right? And dumping this on turn 6 or 7 for your opponent, not only refilling your hand but casting a pseudo Firelands portal, killing something and gaining a 5/5, and also getting 5 health on top of that. Sounds ridiculous in a vacuum, and hopefully in practice, because the value of this card is insane. And who knows, maybe the Druid quest starts seeing some play after this expansion, since card draw is really important after you drop Barnabas, so you can get that sweet 0-mana minion value. Well, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. Hopefully you enjoyed my 10 most powerful cards in Knights of the Frozen Thrones video. It's gonna take a couple of months to see if I'm right, but hopefully I am. Well, hope you enjoyed this, and I will see you guys next time.